Hey, what's going on? What's going on, guys? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Look, I want to thank you for joining me today for the Enlightenment broadcast. I'm trying something different because I've been trying to get these videos on Instagram and my computer versus the phone. I wanted to see how the phone shows up on Instagram. So if you're watching on Instagram, then hopefully it's the right configuration for you guys. So look, I want to welcome you to today's Enlightenment broadcast. My name is Jay, your healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life in all areas. And so today, our quick Enlightenment broadcast is titled, What's Possible in 6 Days? What's possible in 6 days? Now, we've already lost one. So, what's possible in 6 days? Um, I was doing some reading, right? I was doing some reading on an ancient story about things being created. And as I've been reading this story over and over and over and over, trying to get some clarity, trying to get some understanding as to what this story really is about, um, the title popped into my head to What's Possible in 6 Days? Because this ancient story just kind of starts with, how there was nothing and then there started to be something. On the first day there was no light and then there became light. Then it was, then there was no grass. There was nothing growing, and then there was no animals, there was no birds, there was no fish. And systematically every day there was a progression of things being created. But I kept reading the story. Then it got to a point where it was all these things were created, and then all of a sudden there was a being, like a person was created. And I was like, man, that's an interesting story. Let me read it again because I want to get some clarity about this story. Because look, these 6 days are important. Like, why was the air created? Why was the birds created? Why was the fish created? And I was like, why are all these things happening? I said, man, well, there was a point to all of this. There was a point. If you know the story, which most people know the story of creation, the point was, well, there was the ultimate being, which is God. I hope you believe in God. There was the ultimate being in God, where God decided that he wanted to bring from where he wanted to bring everything that they were doing there, and he wanted to bring that down to another place. Now, when he got here to the place, there was nothing here. And he says, well, there's no one here to manage this place for us. And so I was like, well, that's the reason why we'll create everything else. So systematically, they went about creating like the perfect environments for all of the beings, for all of, for everything to grow. There had to be the perfect environment. Imagine if there was no soil, then there's no way that trees and things could grow out of it. If there was no water, then there's no way that the fish could swim and do what they have to do. If there was no firmament, then there would be no place or no way that those birds of the air could fly. But if there was no perfect environment, then there's no way for the man to live the way that he should live. So he created all of the perfect environments for all of these things. And imagine this happened in 6 days. So I said, man, what's possible for you in 6 days? What's possible for anyone who thinks long? Because I can guarantee you that there was a long thought process when it came to deciding to use these 6 days. What if you thought long about your life? What if you said, well, what is the biggest possibility I can think of, and then how can I create a plan that we can put this in motion? How can I do that? I was recently talking to an individual and giving him some ideas of a new way of thinking about starting a business, which it's not like I'm not the smartest business person out here, but what's happened is, upon understanding the world systems, upon understanding the kingdom systems, man, you start things so that you can rest, so that you can go into a phase of your life where you're not hustling and bustling and you're not worried and you're not trying to figure things out. You just know everything works for you because you created something that will continue to grow over and over. If you look outside, I'm looking outside at my grass. That grass is going to grow every single day. If I look outside, there's a tree in front of my house that many years ago, about 10 years ago, it was a baby tree, right? But it was struck down. The tree was hit by, some heavy winds and it came down. It was still a small tree. It may have been only a few inches in diameter when it went down. But you know what? The roots stayed in the ground. We didn't pull up the roots. And today, that tree, 10 years later, I'm like, man, that tree's growing. I was looking in my backyard. We have a basketball court. And in the backyard, there was 2 trees. We had about 3 trees cut down about 5 years ago. And because these trees were big, it was like, man, we don't want these trees to fall on our place. And, one of the trees was kind of leaning on our fence. We said, we got to get rid of these trees. So we got rid of them. Now, while we were cutting the trees, the tree man said, hey, do you want me to cut these little trees? I said, nah, what those trees look like? They're not even growing anyway. And so he didn't cut the trees. He says, all right, we'll leave them. But you know what? These trees are huge now if they're coming over the basketball court. They're everywhere. See, that's because when those seeds were created, they were created to just grow over and over and over. See, the thing is, in 6 days, what you create is something that will last. Now, I'm going to give you some insights here. If you're going to school, right? You went to elementary, you went to high school, and you probably and some people finished. I'm going to say probably finished, but a lot of people finished college. I finished college. I can guarantee you that we didn't create anything to grow over and over and over. What we created was to show up, do a job, and basically live your life in such a way that in 40 years you look up and say, I don't have anything. You're going to retire. I have to retire, but I don't have anything. I didn't create anything while I was working. But what if you took this 6 days? You take what you have. Look, you have to take what you have. You can't wish you had more. Some people, I should go back to school and get more. You don't need more. You need to use what you have. So you take what you have. I'm going to tell you, I'm taking what I have inside. It's in here. And I'm going to push it out. I'm going to push it out. I'm going to create things that I didn't know I could create. Case in point. This broadcast has been going on for 2 years. Just over 2 years. I didn't know that I could do this. I didn't know that I would create 200 to 300 videos and audio broadcasts. I didn't know I could create any of that. Now, I wasn't creating it to earn any money. I just was doing it because I felt this push. I felt that there was something inside me that had to come out. Is there something inside you that has to come out? Does it feel like you have to birth something? See, I don't know what it feels like to have a baby, right? I don't know what that feels like, but I'm going to tell you, every day when I wake up and I've got to birth out, a video. I've got to birth out something new. I'm telling you, that's similar. So we've got to take our life and we've got to decide in our life, man, in 6 days, what can I do? What can I push out of me? Well, Jay, what if I don't finish in 6 days? Okay, that's fine. But what if you finished in 60 days? What if it took you a whole year? It took you a whole year to birth something that would go evergreen. When I say evergreen, meaning it'll just go over and over. It would just keep growing. It'll keep growing. That's what God intended. That's what the Creator intended, was for you and I to create an evergreen system, just like He did. Create an evergreen system in our lives, so that when it's time to rest, we can rest, man. So that when it's time to sit back and say, you know what, it is good. That's what He did. Afterwards, He says, man, this is good what I did. Don't think for 1 minute He stopped working. He did not stop. because he had a plan in place. There was a plan. He had to continue to work. But you know what? His rest is eternal. Because his rest is eternal because he did the work before he started. So imagine this week, you do all the work before you start. What does that mean, Jay? That means we're going to plan everything. We're going to plan it out. We're sitting here planning the week, right? You're going to plan out the week, and you're going to do everything that you can do. And then every week, that's what you're going to do. You're going to do it all. But don't go small. You must go big. You must go so big that maybe you get afraid, and maybe you think you can't do it. That's when you're moving into a place of where you should be. So look, 6 days, what's possible for you? I don't know, but I guarantee you, it's more than what you've already done. So look, decide today. Make your 6 days count. So that when you get to day number 7, you can go into rest. And you can say it was good what I did this week. And then you do that every week. This is the goal of my life, and I hope it's the goal of your life. So look, I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. So because we're going to talk about things that can help you figure out what your purpose is. We'll talk about things that can help you understand simple truths about life. And so look, if you've got value from the program, share this across Facebook, share this across Instagram. Let some of your friends know what you're listening to. All right? God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow.